Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Alexander Cummings, and I love the Independent Minds for a Better Liberia. And I encourage you to listen on Kia Radio 95.9 FM to be informed, to be challenged, to be provoked, to think about Liberia in a new and different way.
Your legal counsel did a submission with the record. Are you in agreement with what the submission that was done?
Yes, please, because I have not received any evidence whatsoever on this complaint.
The reason I'm asking if you are in agreement is, as the president dictates, morning, counsels speak to their client. So as the clients who have hired these distinguished senior counsels to come to speak, it is important in the record to ask you that you are in conformity with what they have said.
Yes.
So having said that, we want to rule on this matter. After the break, there was a series of consultation back and forth along with all parties. We want to say that in order to pass a judgment on this, we will now refer to the committee members to take a decision and a motion on the way forward as to whether that motion will be endorsed by committee members consistent with the majority rule or not. If the decision will be made consistent with majority rule, we'll definitely stand as the way forward for the day on this matter. And for a quick recap, the issue is for Honorable Koluba to say that he was not informed. His counsel said they are not acquainted with the complaint and the evidence, the rules of the House, and they will need these things to ask for an extension of 5 working days in order for us to reschedule this hearing. So committee members, we beg you, this aspect of the hearing will be restricted strictly to committee members. What is a word and pleasure?
Presiding fellow colleagues, I am of the opinion that the councillors' request in terms of the rule being observed or given them by us is a fight. But for our Koluba, who is a second-term lawmaker, I've had 2 of the copies because every time you won before your oath is a minister, the chief clerk does give you a package. In that package, one of the major by our Koluba should be denied, and that he has had a complaint. And Mr. Smo is here also to speak of the complaint. Since we don't have time, luxury of time, we should be closing few days from now.
So committee members, are you ready to vote?
Ready.
Those in favor of the motion, please do it by putting up your right hand. Those against? Those be unanimous? With the gavel with us, we are pleased to now call on the witness or the complainant for qualifying and presentation of his case. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, before that, we got information. We want to cooperate with the rules.
You have information.
Yes.
We are said consistent with our practice Honorable Coliver should speak, the lawyer should speak through him. So I think it is you to inform Honorable Coliver, then Honorable Coliver say to us, then we can pursue with that, please.
Mr. Chair, with all due respect.
Let me 1 minute, 1 minute.
Mr. Chair.
Order. You have the right to whisper on Honorable Coliver's ear. You have the right for Honorable Coliver to call for inquiry, to have consultation with his legal team. So having said that,
We don't have the right to speak here.
Mr. Chair, we want to speak on our own
We don't
behalf.
have the right to speak on our behalf.
you speak on your behalf as what?
We don't have the right to speak on our own
We were
behalf.
invited to this process through our client, Honorable Yeke Koliba, right? And so our being here will also be guarded. The guarding post of our being here is, again, with the team, the professional code for us lawyers. We cannot circumvent, we cannot violate, we cannot vitiate any position within that code. We are guarded by that code. Any attempt to do otherwise, we may be reprimanded for that. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to compromise our license, right? If you want to proceed consistent or within the ambit of your procedure, we don't have a problem with that. But we have a position I want to make clear.
So,
Mr. Chair,
yeah.
just to be clear, our client has made it very clear that he has not received any evidence of the complaints against him, contrary to what his motion was. As for the rules, it was just one of the many things we requested as part of the evidence to be able to guide these proceedings. Unfortunately, this committee has voted and decided that they will not accord our client due process by giving him
Order. Council, order.
On that note,
Order, council. No, council, order. Please, you to the order, council. Council, please. At no time, this committee has said through a chair or any member that your client will not be accorded due process. As stated by you, due process, it is in progress, then given to your client. That's why when your client wrote for 5 working days, in the wisdom of this committee will give him 2 days. But I'm saying to you, like he said, the professional conduct of lawyers. I also have the House's rule to guide my conduct and my behavior within these proceedings as much as we have the professional conduct of lawyers. Let me learn now, please. I'm calling the order now. So, as the courtroom has its own rules, you are aware these are 2 separate and coordinating branches. So, you will not expect me to put aside the House's rule to go by the ethical conduct of lawyers. I will be doing injustice to this house, and I'll be doing injustice to my colleagues. So if the 2 laws come to conflict at this junction, what I can take, I'm not yet discharging my function as a lawyer. I'm here discharging the function as chairman on the House's Committee on Rules, Orders, and Administration. Therefore, the statute I will take into consideration at this stage, it is the House's rule, except it is contrary to the organic law. So I want to make that.
Mr. Chair, that's exactly what we said. So due process is not only to be called, it's also to be given the evidence ahead of time to be able to respond.
So
the fact that our client has said he was not given the evidence and he's not in a position to respond to the evidence, that leaves us with no option but to not continue this process because we cannot adequately respond to the evidence that we've not yet seen. When my colleague responded to the issue of our ethics, it's not ethical for any lawyer to go into a proceeding without seeing evidence. So if you decide not to give us the evidence, we're not going to proceed.
Council, order, please, beg you. Will not. Council, wait now. No. Council,
let the woman speak for her client, please.
Council, beg you. I think we started this.
You got it now.
No. Council, no. Order now. Order, Council. Council, then you go beyond them. We'll ask the sergeant, please escort you out, please. I don't want to reach our level. Please. We can reach our level. But if you continue to have no option but to ask the sergeant to ask you out. We say to you, in this place, you see we have a rule that govern you, we also have a rule that govern us as well. It's not about dialogue. You have the right to do what you want to do, and we also have the right to do what we want to do. And one thing I can say to you, any actions from here, it is not considered law and gospel. You also have the right to remedy. So why will you still look at the remedies available at law and still insist that we cannot proceed? So it is a right not to honor the hearing. We cannot force to honor the hearing, but this is a democratic process. It is governed by the will of the majority. In your presence, the committee members unanimously voted for this hearing to proceed. Therefore, as chair, I cannot hold this hearing. So having said that, Mr. Small-Moriba, you might please take a stand. You need to be qualified, but as member, please speak to your client. Please speak to your client. As a member of the House of Representatives who have been minister of, consider that as a qualification. So you can't grant that permission. It's when you're trying to grant that permission. So please proceed. So please proceed.
So honorable legal teams have been is expected to escape to leave. Honorable Koruba legal representation are now leaving on grounds that their clients are not being given due process. Honorable Koruba is now being asked.
No, this committee, you were not invited yet, you're not compelled to come here. If you come here, we're expecting to behave yourself, please. Consistent with the House's rules. Thank you. Honorable Koruba, you can proceed with information.
So, Honorable Chairman and fellow colleagues, now that my lawyers, because in your communication to me, you asked me to come along with my lawyer. Now that I have been left alone with all lawyers, I can proceed with the matter. So I beg to leave. Thank you.
So Chief, please tell us exactly what was the reason of which you are leaving the hearing despite
the process leading to the investigation in our mind is irregular, right? We are lawyers, we are guided by the professional code for lawyers, right? And the professional code provides that whenever we appear to represent a client or the party litigant, we must do it expeditiously, it must be adequate. Inadequate representation of a client in a matter is in conflict with the code of provisions of the code of conduct. You cannot come to represent a client in this matter, you don't have the evidence to peruse. Notice is a principal category of law. You must have the evidence, peruse the evidence to come and provide a defense. Mind you, this process is a quasi-judicial process. It will have to be guided by the procedures as is adopted by the judiciary or the other branch of government. Why there is a political theater? And so for us lawyers, as professional as we are, we cannot come here and walk our client to the gallop. We cannot do that. It's unprofessional. The public is watching, the war is watching. We cannot come here and provide inadequate representation for our client. Provide us the evidence, we proceed. Consistent with your practice and procedure or within the ambit of the procedure of this August body. That is our position, just simple as that. Anything to the contrary is in violations of the representative due process.
My name is Samson Mosuya, I report for Online Power. So now that you walk out along with your client, what's the next step for your client?
I don't know the rules of this August body. Like we say, we requested, when our request is give us the rules. So we appraise ourselves with the rules so as to guide the process. You ask us to provide guidance for our client. How do we proceed? I've not seen the evidence. I've not seen any recording, whatever. I've not even seen the position of the government. How do I provide that kind of representation that the lawmaker requested us to do? We have to see those evidence so as to provide the kind of representation, legal representation for our client. So, in the absence of that, it's travesty of justice.
So you can't just walk out. Perhaps judgment by default could be next. And if that is taking suspension, expulsion, what could be the next course of action?
There is a remedy for that procedure, right? The Supreme Court has had its opinion that even judgment by default, the client will be accorded due process. Notice will be served. And it is against the backdrop that we asking this August body or the committee to provide the evidence. We have not come to circumvent the process. Give us the evidence, we will guide our client or the representative. That's your colleague. It's one of you. The law provides, Article 20 provides that before you condemn an individual, the person will have due process to law. You cannot deny the man of his property, his liberty. You cannot.
So in a hearing, just
the first time you have been to the court, and the last time perhaps the court refused to render judgment. When a body takes a decision, you go to the court.
The minister of the law of the republic that I know is the Supreme Court of the republic, right? So whatever decision they make here is subject to decision, is subject to a review by that other body.
You trust the Supreme Court to handle this?
I am a member. I am a member of the Supreme Court bar, and arm of that court. I'm a member of that bar. I respect that body, that sacred body. Whatever decision they take, they represent us as Liberians. As a matter of fact, the fulcrum upon which our democracy runs is the rule of law, and that body is responsible judicially to handle that aspect of the process.
Looking at the client you are representing,
what with the client? He is an honorable lawmaker. Is he not honorable? I don't know what you're speaking to. I don't have that set of facts to refer to him as school professor. It's your saying. You speak for yourself. You're not going to put worry my mouth.
Chief, under the doctrine of
honorable man, I trust that body.
Under the doctrine of separation of power.
In the absence of that body, you won't stay here to ask me questions.
Under the doctrine of separation of power, the chairperson of the Committee on Rules of Administration was able to differentiate between judiciary happening and legislative politics. That of which, of course, he said that you need your client, you need to speak to your client, and you try to go back and forth with this. You think this process of the investigation by the Horses Committee on Judiciary is impartial to that of the client?
The hearing by that committee is a quasi-judicial process. It should be guided by the process as adopted by the judiciary branch of government, right? And so, against that backdrop, we need the evidence. If you make an allegation against an individual, like in the case of the lawmaker, provide the evidence. And so for us lawyers, we'll be able to peruse the evidence, right? And then by doing that, we can come to provide the evidence. Again, we cannot walk our client to the gutter. We cannot do that, right? And this body is within the ambit. It should be within the field of the law, right? This body is not above the law. This body should conduct itself within the field of the law. It's against that backdrop that this very body, have you read the citation? They asked the honorable lawmaker to come along with his lawyer. What is the essence of that? Is to make sure that his right to due process is not violated. And how do we do that? We have to have the evidence, we have to peruse the evidence.
Are there possibilities for you and your client to return to the committee? If yes, what's the way forward?
Well, if the committee invites us to come for the process and provide the evidence, we're willing to. Even if they give her a day, to peruse the evidence, we'll be able to peruse the evidence and come and defend our client. That's it.
Precedent cases has proven that this House of Representatives, especially with the Speaker removal, did not respect the Supreme Court ruling in time past. Do you think going to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court make a judgment they will respect it?
Well, that is with respect to what happened in the past. That's what on the bridge. What I'm speaking to is the set of fact before me. What I'm here for is to represent Honorable Yeke Wa Koluba. Yeah, most of the country electoral district number 10. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to refer to whatever happened in the past, right? And so what we're saying, this August body was operating in the field of the law, right? It's not about the law.
Say before we leave you?
Well, we expect us to be as civilized as we could, so that the also will respect us. So we must be guided by the rule of law. Straight adherence to the rule of law is the way forward.
Thank you.
Any attempt to contravene the law, well, it will end to chaos. Thank you, sir. This carries of justice.
What's your name again?
Jonathan T. Massacre.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, Koruba. Hello, Koruba. Good afternoon. Hello, Koruba.
Don't judge my call before you get jealous.
Explosion already. Are you afraid of explosion?
Don't touch my shoe. I pay too much money for the shoe.
Are you afraid of explosion?
It seems like you are said to be one of the former lawmaker. Are you afraid? How will you be in the position of former lawmaker?
Oh my God.
Are you going to be a spell?
Something like what?
You talk about evidence. You said
don't tell my quote.
Were you sincere to the committee when you said that you haven't the rules, regulations governing the house? Were you sincere to the
without giving any rule book?
Don't you have copies?
Don't you have copy of the rule book?
We came to the 55th. We came to the 55th. They didn't get any copy, so until they can bring evidence. No, they didn't give a copy.
So
take down my shoe.
Are you not informed as a lawmaker you should protect the sanity and dignity of the house at all times?
Did I disrespect any senator of this country or the house? I didn't. I can't remember.
Your statement is
so you can better interpret my statement than me. I spoke my
and what's the interpretation of the statement?
My interpretation is what I know and what we will present.
What do you know?
What do you know?
I know what is right.
What do you know?
I know what is right.
Do you think you will not be expelled?
Well, Capital Building, that's my living room. I have my house on the whole road. I prepare for anything. The battle have started.
The police of the police are here today. In here to
very prepared to have here.
No, we're not get credence. We're not get credence to Gregory Lane or Boston Lane.
Say what?
I said we're not get credence to Gregory Lane.
Who is Gregory Lane? What does that mean? Who is Gregory Lane?
We're not get credence to Gregory Lane or Boston Lane.
You have less than 7 days to be expelled.
Let me get my cover. Look at my reading.
Do you think there are someone on this process trying to get you?
You like my car? I'm riding on Ruby.
Less than 6 days.
Are there big hands on the process?
I'm riding on Ruby.
Are you maintaining the 30 lawmakers? Are you trying to negotiate?
I'm maintaining the 72 lawmakers. Because this is a precedent that will hold any lawmaker. This is not about Yeke. This is about the sanity of this house.
Sympathy?
But I don't want sympathy for anyone. But tomorrow when the government comes, when you speak, then there'll be no critical voice in Liberia anymore. And we don't want to set that precedent. We want to respect everybody. I respect all my colleagues. I know they are in a right mind. They are people that were brought here by their people, not to make the wrong judgment. Today, it is about Yeke speaking, and I will always speak. You want to silence the voice, you have to kill Yeke. If I'm not even a lawmaker, I will speak. I have the authority to speak. Look, I took my personal money and bought 3 pickups, and I bought a pickup 55,000 US. I put it in the convoy to promote the image of the opposition, and that I will do. Nothing will deter me.
Do you still stand by your statement?
I'll stand by anything.
Consider one of the exceptions, and the only exception is that the declarant of that evidence should be willing and able to appear and attest to the truth of the evidence. So in this case, we listen to you read your official complaint against Honorable Yeke Koliwa Masowa. And in your complaint, you mention the legal ramification, you mention a breach, and also you mention to the extent where his action contravenes the rules and procedure of the House. You stated few provisions of the House. You also mention provisions of the Constitution that were being flagrantly disregarded. Can you state for the record? Because this case goes beyond the legislature. Every citizen has the right to take an appeal regardless of whatever body they appear before. Are you willing and able to testify to this species of evidence, whether oral and written evidence, beyond this hearing? And secondly, do you attest to the truthfulness of this complaint given that it constitutes a sufficient legal authority and the proponent of that communication to form part of this investigation?
Yeah, on record, do confirm to that.
And this is a compliment.
Another thing about evidence, especially when it comes to video, because sometimes people say they dump the video. I think we can verify and validate all of those evidences from the school network, right? If you get on the pages, is what we still have it in the URL format. is not in the video form. The video form was like sent to him, but we still have it in the URL format directly for Spoon Network. So in order to validate beyond all reasonable doubt, it should be in line and procedure with the Spoon Network, because it is from the Spoon Network that he took part on the show, on the online TV show. So as me, just the individual proponent, yes, I can identify by the video I have, but the true authenticity of that video can be identified from Spoon Network.
Thank you.
Secondly, video evidence will form a critical part of this entire event. We have the new phenomenon in the world that we consider as AI. Someone might come and say, what you proposing is AI. These questions go to the chair. Have we authenticated from Spoon Network and other institutions that were directly involved, that are custodians of this information that we are abusing into evidence, to state clearly that this information is true and they are nothing but the truth, and they constitute the sufficient legal authority statement made by the defense in this process that we authenticate as a committee.
So let me say this to you. The evidence was just the evidence was just been listened to by every one of us, and it is now the responsibility of this committee in her deliberation or in determining outcome of this matter to authenticate the pieces of evidence submitted thus far. And let me also say, to keep referencing Spoon Network, while you were asking the first question, my hair was bowed on the table. It was the evidence submitted to me. I'm looking, I'm seeing two. I'm also seeing one with an OK background talk show. So it is not only Spoon, I want to say that for the record. Yes, so I can assure you that we were authenticate from these institutions in terms of having a team to go on their page to know as to whether these statements are true or not. And it is from them on whether these statements are from their pages or not. Because I know that whenever there is, for instance, the OKFM show, the recordings is on the show. So the committee will do due diligence to determine that. Thank you.
Spoon Network, March 20th.
So you just got it from Spoon Network, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was saying it's okay. The committee will do more research to determine as to whether these videos are from the Spoon Network. Yeah. Thank you. Any other concern?
Before I take my seat, before I close off, for the record, we see in the hall the absence of the defendant in this case. And the law provides that the accused kills their accuser. I see the media.
Information.
Right.
The accused was invited along with the accuser. And as we started the discussion, the both of them were here, and there was cooperation from all sides. At some point in time, the accused wanted us to proceed in a form and manner that is not best practice or does not conform with our rules, the house's rule. So it's on the basis of that, as you are aware, as a seasoned and experienced lawmaker, the practice here is for lawyers to guide their client and speak through their client. But they wanted to speak for their client, which is not a practice here. So we have to stop that. And the next thing is, in the wisdom of the accused, he felt that he could not speak by himself. He needed the client, his lawyer, to speak for at all costs. So he chose to walk away, though We did not approve his going away, but as you are aware, constitutionally everyone has the freedom of free movement. So I want to make that correction, that those watching in Radio Land, the public can know that he was invited and he came. There were cooperation from all parties, but because he wanted us to go in accordance to his way, contrary to the procedure of the House's rule, he chose to walk away. So I just want to make that correction. Thank you.
Okay,
So that's the correction being made by the chairperson of the House's Committee on Rules, Order and Administration.
due process here representatives and also be guided by his lawyers, but he forfeited that opportunity under the due process. So it means that legally he suffers waiver and latches under this process.
And before submitting, let it be clear to the audience that the accused in the first hearing was invited, and the accused came to the first hearing with an excuse, asking this body to grant him 5 working days in order to find lawyers. And in the wisdom of this committee, he was granted 2 working days. And in honoring that request, he came with his lawyers today, and those lawyers were here. So not only that he forfeited not coming, but he honored the request, the first, and we as a committee honor his request to have an extension. Thank you. So, is there any other question, inquiries, or?
Thank you, Chair. Within 3 days, he went and brought his lawyer. Well, I think it was unlawful to even say the lawyer should explain on his behalf or either question us on his behalf. It can happen according to our rules. When you come here, you submit yourself. We don't have senior counsel here. We are counseled by ourselves. And we made the law. So we have the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, and we have the House rule that governs us into the House. So you cannot come here and overrule us. We have our way of investigating according to police. So having said that, I would like for us to find a step out from you, the chair. Thank you. I pause that part.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Madam Bishop.
Yeah, Mr. To the complainant, let me ask you a question for the record.
Do you think your action complaining Oyega Koluba to the plenary, that action is to safe protect the sovereignty of our country, or it is personal?
No, it goes beyond that. I think it is to save and protect the sovereignty of our state. Also, I think my action is to make sure that we just can place the House out there to disrepute and to set the president, national president, not legislative president, national president, so that our children can live by. Yeah.
Do you think the outcome from the investigation, if our Koluba is guilty and an action is taken against, will you have a regret?
I would not have a regret. If I also commit such an action, I think the law should take a course and I should be dealt with like Yeke Koluba.
No question.
Yeah.
Any other person?
Are you allowing non-members?
Yes. No police. No, when it comes, when it comes to taking vote, it is only committee members. But questions, inquiry, Honorable Obadiah Vani.
Yeah, so we said there was a process. There is all help to. Yeah, we said there was a process, and we are not part of the committee. We are member of the House. I want to say thank you to the committee for the way we're taking the process and continue the rest part. I've been in interest of our house, the house, and the country. So we are very keen to make sure that nothing happens. Thank you.
With this complaint,
and other evidence to all the leadership.
I see the question. I see the question. Listen. Hello? No. Yeah, the prayer to the committee is stated in the complaint.
I think our people are saying one thing to do something together that just, all the time being the public matter.
So sorry for the old internet connectivities.
Honorable Emmanuel Yah of Electoral District 4, Magini County. Then from there, Honorable Sam P. Jara.
Okay, so my question is directed to Malva. I would like to know from you, we get a provider in the police. If you talk on informing him for this complaint, or after this complaint, you have been to action by addition to you or not doing.
All right. First of all, I would like to say this. At the House of Legislature where we are, it's all about nationalism and socialism, not about friendship. I think before then, when we tried to push this on the floor through the media, we consulted Yeke, and I told Yeke personally as a friend, I said, Yeke, you have to apologize to the Liberian people. You have to tell them sorry because this statement is treasonous. You have to say sorry. And he told me on the social media that if I say sorry, then my phone should turn to the back, right? And at that time, the host of that show was one Yeke, from School FM. Thank you.
Honorable Jara. All right, thank you, Honorable Chairman of the Committee.
No scientific question, sir. No scientific question, sir. Yes, a scientist. Go ahead, brother.
Honorable Chairman, distinguished colleagues, for me, I want to look at the moral aspect of this. I know that there should be public hearing, right? So the intent will be that people who are not part of this circle will know what's going on. For instance, I came back here on Sunday evening. Prior to that, I listened to school. They had a list calling the name of people who have already signed a resolution to get rid of the extra. So for me, this hearing is a relief for me because that list can be on.
Inquiry.
Yeah.
Did they display the list?
So I just told you about radio that I listened to the radio. So I think this hearing is okay. So if this will solve the problem now so that the people know there's some of the things we hear on the radio is the making of the producer of the air and not the people that listen to it. So the few questions I'm going to ask to both of you, the complainant and the chairperson. I saw something being dramatized here, that the lawyer was complaining that they were being asked to come along with the accused. So why aren't they being given the time to make presentation? My question to you, the chairperson, as a new lawmaker, is there anything I'll do? Because like I was saying to somebody, Article 38 of our Constitution gives rights to what is happening. So by admission, you want to say this is law. So the thing is there anything that states that in situation of these, the accused is waiting to say come with your lawyer, but the lawyer does not have the right to make any presentation except through the person? Is there anything explicitly written that is to you? So Honorable Mova, during your presentation backing your complaint, you quoted I think up to 3 of the rules of the House, starting from 9.1, 9.2, Do you mind maybe getting a copy and read it or explicitly so that maybe the media can carry that people know that someone is doing, because they do not have our rules. But I think that was some of the strength the lawyers here were trying to back on that they wanted evidence of something to prove that our sample here is guaranteed by law and other things, even though we know that there is legislative. But for me, that kind of thing, because the first law of nature is self-preservation, and that's why I'm trying to push. Thank you.
So I'll come and send you the rules right now. Is that on your
no, listen to me. When you heard my question, I was
no, I know. I understand it. I understood that very well.
But if you listen to me,
I don't want to use good. I don't want to use like my colleague from
at least the public can know what's up.
Can I go over it?
Read it,
yeah, you're 11.
Yeah, can I go over it? So we start with we start with the communication. We have 9.2. And 9.2 says a member may be expelled from the house for cause by a resolution of 2/3 majority of the member of the house. I stated that in our communication. Then another portion is what? 11?
Yeah, 11.
No, not 11, 43?
41, 43, 1. Then you can, after we go 11. So let's go what he had. Well, yeah, I'm not. So you can make additions. Sorry.
You needing a witness.
Okay, counsel.
Rule 42. 42.1. Every member shall at any time keep the prestige and dignity of the house and refrain from undesirable acts. 42.2. No member shall insult, abuse, or harass other person within the confines of the house or cause disturbance to the activity of the house. Rule 43. Confidentiality. Rule 43. Every member shall keep confidential matters that have come to his or her knowledge by virtue of his or her work or any other reason, and those matters must be kept secret because they are likely to jeopardize government or public interest, peace, and security. 11? I really know 11. I 11. I'm
sorry. I'm sorry, sir. Sorry, Chief.
All right. 16, 7, 14, 13, 11. Taking of oath. Each member of the House of Representatives, before taking his or her seat, shall take an oath of affirmation to uphold and defend the Constitution and the law of the Republic. It's in line with Article 31 of the Constitution.
So, Honorable Chairman, so that's it. So now that with the reading of the provision, the ordinary people order, because that's the purpose of public hearing. I think they will go for themselves what it is. Now, before you go to the question I was thrown to you, that is the objective of this thing that I thought I should point out, right? Because at the end of the day, like you stated, who knows after the recommendation of the committee what come on? And at the end of the day, plenary should be the one that's speaking from the United States. Because like we said, here we work through committee. Whatever you do here, you make recommendation of plenary, and the reason will be on the basis of some of these facts. And that was the reason for which I asked this question, and I thought you did. So that part of it is important. The area is not done here now, but I hope the committee can look at it as a part of them. Where a lawyer is asked to accompany them in person, why are they accompanying people? Do they have the
Thank you.
That we can see what they do.
So respond to your concerns. Then if no other person I can ask, I will receive my questions as well. One, Honorable Jala, as we all know, the house is a rule-based house. Our decisions are on the basis of our rules and procedures or precedents. It is established in this house that a witness, before you and I were inducted, before you and I thought of becoming a lawmaker, that a witness who is on the stand, the lawyers cannot speak for them yet. Their lawyers speak through them. If a lawyer has an issue, you pass it on to the witness or to your client. The intent of lawyers coming here is to ensure that the client rights are protected and guarded by what they say. But what was demonstrated here was in no way a violation of the client's rights. It was on the bare basis that they say they have a professional conduct that protect lawyers, a professional code of conduct, sorry. On the basis of that, if they go against that code of conduct, their license might be suspended or they might be punished for say an act. On the basis of that, they cannot go against that professional code of conduct, thereby setting not to hear a matter without evidence being presented to them. Fine, that's their argument. But I want them to also understand that as a legislator, I also have my own rule that is protecting me, which is the House's rule. Yes. In as much they do not want to go against their own rule that protect them, I'm also cognizant of the fact that I can also go against my own rule that protects me as a representative. If I were to go against the House's rule and procedures, the same like mine, I can be suspended, I can be expelled, I can be punished likewise. But it's important to note that Honorable Calabar and his lawyer still has remedy. This is not thunder. This is not law and gospel. There have been decisions taken here. In many instances, people have gone to the Supreme Court for remedy. So there will always be remedy at law. So it's not that we decided to deprive them the opportunity, but I think that they were looking at their professional code of conduct, and equally so, we are also looking at the House's rule as well. You don't want a professional code of conduct go against you. I do not want my rule that govern me as well to go against myself too. Plenary is a higher decision-making body, as you are aware. Plenary has given a responsibility to this committee. The 10 days we are here for, make a report within the 10 days. In good faith, I will say to you, when Honorable Calabar wrote for his lawyer for an extension, the 2 days were granted. At that process, I'm sure when the lawyer were contacted, some of those concerns might have been raised. But within 5 days, you come back again, not only that, but you're asking for additional 5 days to attend to the reading of the rules, evidence, and the list. A lot of things in our submission. After that 5 days before the hearing commences, after 5 days, we might not be here again per the statutory time given to us as 10 days. So it is on the basis of that. Having said that, permit me, Honorable Sumo Morua, to quiz you on few things or ask you on few things. Number one, Honorable Yaga Calabar went allegedly and said on his survey that the audio player, I say allegedly, from his survey, this play on a question belongs to the Guinean. As a lawmaker who does not represent Lofa County, who represents Mosorado County. Now, even if, God forbid, this place is taken away from Lofa, it does not affect your territorial jurisdiction as a lawmaker. What particular injury, what harm does this statement cause you as an individual leading you to write against him?
All right. First of all, is the statement, and in conflict mediation, you have two sides. It's time to go through the process of diplomacy. So in the essence of diplomacy, for a lawmaker who is part of the first branch of government to come on and say that this part of the portion belongs to Guinea. Take for example, you saw there, they were all Guinean army. They were not immigration officer from Guinea or neither the police from Guinea. They were army people with guns. So if we engage when there is confrontation, the people of District 3 will be affected because we take our role to go in the bush for safekeeping, right? And I think it is not just about, the issue is not just about the people of Lofa County alone. And remember also, in Lofa County, around that same area is where my father came from. It's where my father town is. So I have my people that live in that identical region. So when you make statements that go along, that try to refrain from the reality here.
Okay. The next question is this. It is almost similar. In your complaint, I did hear about the issue of national security. How does this statement borrow around national security if you have the opportunity to convince this committee?
All right. Again, the issue of national security, in the process of mediation, conflict resolution, again, I said we have two sides. We have Guinea, we have Liberia. When anything goes wrong, the first thing I did was to inform on the social media, to inform the government that the only thing we need to do is to create land law where our army will be there, our police will be there to stop the people from going into confrontation. If anything happened with the issue of national security, when there is war, our army have to go in. When there is conflict there at the border, where Guineans forcibly take the land and we try to get it back, then it has to do with national security. So by just making that statement, you can make a statement saying the land already belongs to Guinea, it means it is Guinea property. We on the wrong side. So in order to get that land back, it will require a lot. It will even require true conflict, it may go to war. And it will require the issue of national security. I think it was necessary.
So there's something called historical facts. There's something we call historical fact. These are things that is established, cannot be cancelled or cannot be changed. Take for instance, Liberia gained her independence on July 26, 1847. It's a historical fact, right? You can disprove it, you can cancel it. In 1964, 4 counties were created: Bon, Nima, Lofa, and Grand Julia. These are historical facts. My question I'm trying to lay a premise is, taking into consideration, Honorable Yaka Wa Koluba is noted on the historical, but based on historical facts, it's noted for public outburst. Can't you consider this as its usual public outburst?
Right. Public outburst against individual is different. Yeke against individual is different. Yeke against people is different. Yeke against entity is different. But Yeke against the state, it's a different ballgame. It's a different issue. Where Yeke come up with a statement, the statement is treasonable against the state. I think this is not something like we take lightly, like within our own internal range. This is extended. It has to do with other countries, right? Among ourselves, we can handle it. But with the other people like Guinea, you will not know the bill up there, right? Like people flying around saying, now this is our property. And because of that, this is our property, we claim to it. And claiming to it, why if Liberia say, look, we need to get our property back, then we have confusion. So, with the issue of public outburst against entity, against individual, but against the state, it's an issue. Thank you.
Another thing is, I want to find out from you is, Koluba comes from Lofa.
Yeah.
And you yourself said, why you are to a hill from Lofa as well. Don't you think that his statement that this place is for Guinea, trying to, if Guinea clean, trying to displace some sons and daughters of Lofa, don't you think that with myself here, that's also what they're not going to let it be?
Let me say this, with the issue of conflict, when there is war, if conflict results to war, dispute results to war, when bullets flying around, it will not be the issue of the film. It will be the issue of people from Grand Bassa, people from the other county, they will be involved. So this thing is not just Lofa County thing.
It's okay. Another concern about loyalty. Will Honorable Koluba's statement as an elected member, which range or which side do you put on the Yeke Koluba, taking into consideration as elected member of Parliament of Liberia in terms of loyalty, to come out while Liberia is in dispute with a neighbor for a piece of land, to say that this piece of land is not ours, is for Guinea, through his research, according to him, allegedly his research. Do you see to it that Honorable Koluba loyalty is to Liberia or to Guinea, and why you think so?
I think the loyalty, based on the statement, the loyalty of Yeke Koluba is to Guinea, and there are so many reasons for that. Because one, the Constitution, Article 31, as a lawmaker, uphold the Constitution. Just by saying that, because the same Constitution says that when you aid another country, right, you are against the country you are from. And another portion to that to show the loyalty is in Article 34D, where they talk about in case we have war, where the House have the right to project war to the executive, and there will be the process of voting. There is an issue we call conflict of interest, because Yeke said in his statement again that he's a friend to Doumbouya, the president of Guinea. So it shows a bound loyalty to Guinea.
In this complaint?
Yeah.
Did you submit that in your submission as part of the evidence? That is a friend to do well?
It's there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not
so,
there.
Can you state to the party? Sorry, I'm questioning you because we have to balance this hearing and do as much as a court everyone due process. What are those constitutional statutory provisions that you can convince this committee? Maybe they might be in your narrative, but orally for those that are watching by land, that you think this committee can take decision on the basis of this committee?
We look at the Constitution in order to convene the committee. We look at the Constitution, Article 76, that talk about aiding and subvert. Article 76, that talk about aiding and subvert. Then we also look at Article 31 of the Constitution that make reference to the oath that we took to uphold the Constitution and preserve the sovereignty of the state. It's in Article 31 of the Constitution. Then we look at our own rule. Our own rule, we have Article 15 that make mention of keeping the dignity of the house. We also have 9.2. We also have 42. We have 43.1 to 43.3.
Thank you.
Then we also have the final law 11.1.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Thank you. So with this being said, we say to our committee members, thank you so much for coming, and to non-committee members, all legislators who came to listen to this hearing, including Honorable Margaret and others who left. We say to you, thank you. To the media, we say thank you. The general public for watching this process, thank you. To Honorable Smoke Bolivar, the complainant from Bangkok, we say thank you. To the accused, Honorable Yeke Kolwa, who came earlier with his team of lawyers and was earlier wrote the committee for an extension which was granted. We say to him thank you as well. And to legislative staff who have been supportive to the process, we say to them thank you as well. But it is important that we flag this or inform the public on this. It is not our wish or desire to penalize anyone. And it's not also our wish or desire to look for problems on colleagues. And it's not our wish or desire to wish on anyone. But when you have a constitutional responsibility imposed on you, you have to execute it to the fullest. As a committee, our responsibility under the rule this matter fall in one of the many responsibilities given to us. So when the statute of the House or the rule of the House of Representatives say the Rules, Orders, and Administration Committee is called with the authority to investigate colleagues who might be accused or who might this. So this is one of the many responsibilities. So I want the public to understand that we are only a rule, but not to go out to look for fault on people, not to go out and look for problems on people. And it's also the responsibility of Liberians who feel that a member of this house had gone against the organic law of this country, or who is in breach of the Constitution, to raise issues against them. And we also want to say out to them, Yeke Kolwa has the right. There are remedies available to him at law. So we want to say thank you for the cooperation and ask the committee members as the way forward, as the committee will be making a formal report to plenary, and it is in the wisdom of plenary to endorse the report in full, or to endorse in part, or to do what they may seem deemed in faith for this proceeding in order for this matter to be finally laid to rest. So thank you so much to everyone. So having said that, we now move to the committee members to ask them what is the way forward as we await a committee hearing, a committee meeting to discuss about committee report.
Thank you very much, Chair. The first point I want to bring out is the letters that were written by an individual without giving reading.
Okay.
The reason being, if anybody want to make a case, not lonely by yourself. So we will not consider that letter.
Noted. That's why after reading we made a statement that we're not going to do it because you cannot bring a complaint of class action as an individual.
Okay, and moreover, if a lawmaker have a case in a court, the lawmaker speak through his lawyer. But a lawmaker have a case among his colleagues. His lawyer there to speak through you. But now the lawyer will get on the floor to speak on your behalf.
It's noted, we told them, the public said, well, we informed them that it was precedent set here, and we are not prepared to breach that precedent.
Thank you, that what I say, we have our own rules.
Thank you.
That govern us in this house.
So with that being said, we now will request for a motion to adjourn. With that being said, this hearing is hereby adjourned, and the committee will meet and have a report compiled and reported to plenary. Thank you. And the motion to adjourn is undebatable.
And so, folks,
as we told you that it is not our responsibility to look for fault on people, but this responsibility we are discharging, it is imposed on us by the statute, by the rules of the House. So we are compelled to investigate complaints of colleagues brought before plenary, that plenary sent to us. That's the first thing. The next thing is, after the hearing, the committee is going to meet in committee room, and there will be a debate among ourselves, because I don't see it possible that all members of the committee, the 7 members, will decide one recommendation. Every member of the committee will have the responsibility to bring forth their individual recommendation to be forwarded to plenary. But remember that those individual recommendations will not be forwarded. It is intended for the committee, and when it's brought to the attention of the committee is going to have debate on it. And you know, this is a rule-based house. It is run on the basis of the opinion of the majority. So there will be a series of decisions in terms of voting on those way forward or recommendations that will be brought. Those ones that will have the numerical strength to be passed on will definitely be forwarded to plenary as recommendation of the committee.
My name is Bomokona. The Koluba and his lawyers have complained about not being accorded to the process. That's why they walked out. What do you have to say?
No, I don't think Koluba lawyers are complaining of not being accorded due process. I don't think so. I think you were here. You can also inform the public as to whether they were accorded due process or not. Now, what they say, you as a journalist covering the process, you were here when Koluba wrote for the first time and requested for 5 days. In 5 days, he was given 2 days. Is there not due process? Was that not due process? I'm asking you.
You tell us.
No, not telling you. I'm asking you. I'm saying to you, you witness the process. The man requested the first time for 5 days. And in the wisdom of the committee, he was given 2 days. So I'm asking, was that not due process? It was due process. It's part of due process. If we thought that we did not want to call in due process, we could have conducted the hearing on that same day. But we felt that the due process is a fundamental part of law, so he must be accorded his desire, even though it is not the 5 days, but we granted his request in part. But I think this is the issue here. I think you need to make the public to understand. The senior counsels, including the justice that came home, we have so much regard for them. They are saying that they have a rule that governs lawyers. That is not that govern lawyers. And in that code of conduct, You cannot go to an hearing to represent a client, according to them, without being given those exhibits or documentations in which you requested for. Equally so, I'm also saying to them, as you have the code of conduct that governs lawyers, we also have the House's rule that governs us as well. In as much you don't want to go against the code of conduct that governs lawyers, I myself don't want to go against the House's rule. And we're also saying to them, it is precedent set at this legislature that a member cannot be heard through lawyers. A member their lawyers can guide them, and their lawyer can speak through them. So that's why you're not listening to what I'm saying, but if you listen to me, you understand me. I just say it clear, and don't ask what I've just said to you. So please, that's why we keep reminding them to ensure that what it is this. So remember, you want to protect your rule, and I myself took oath to protect my rule as well. I cannot protect the professional conduct of lawyers, the code of conduct of lawyers, going against the House's rule. An attempt to go against the House's rule, the same way they think that they can be punished or penalized for going against their code of conduct, myself can be penalized for going against the House's rule as well.
Someone said that why did you accept the lawyer's submission?
I said to you, we have a procedure here. This is not the first of a case of its kind. You can go to several cases where witnesses have been invited. If you are a legislative reporter or part of legislative pool, you will help me to inform the public that this is a precedent. This is a normal routine. At no time that a witness or a nominee has appeared with their lawyer, perhaps let's say to be charged for contempt, or to get reason why they should not be charged for contempt, for that lawyer to be the one to take the stem while that witness is sitting for their lawyer to be speaking for them. It is unprecedented.
Why did you accept the submission from the lawyer?
Pardon me?
Why did you accept their submission?
No, we did not accept the submission. I think you're getting it wrong. When the submission was made, the correction was provided. And let me say this to you. While we are trying to protect the law, that does not mean we do not coexist. Justice Janet is my instructor. He's a senior legal luminary. Lewa Councilor Masakwe, Lewa Councilor Yakura. These are all senior counsels, and I, as a junior counsel, will not be in a habit to disrespect any of them. To say to my senior colleagues in the same profession that I'm not going to accept your letter and but no. So there are certain things implied. By you shaking hands to receive the letter, by you going in accordance to what your rule says and your procedures, which we call acceptance. So if we could have accepted, we could have allowed their will or their request to have been granted. But the request was denied on the basis of the procedure, precedent, the rules are here. Then you say we accept that? How does that work? So I just want to say to you, I'm not in the mood and will never be in the mood to disrespect my colleagues, particularly very, very senior colleagues.
Let's take the final question for Chairman. What's on your mind now?
On my mind? What on my mind right now? The thing on my mind now is to ensure that this person, anyone tell me on my mind now? The first thing on my mind now is to ensure this matter is amicable. Show that there is a report as mandated by plenary from this committee in ensuring that this matter is that all parties can resolve consistent with law, that all parties can feel satisfied that their best interest was protected consistent with law.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me say the last one here.
Okay.
Honorable Yeke felt disenchanted and walk away. Do you think you will accept any report from?
Except we can speak to that. And you don't want to. I don't want to preempt the report of the committee. Do you know the report of the committee that you want to preempt? Assuming the committee said to plenary, this matter brought to our attention, and the pieces of evidence produced are not sufficient to honor the request of the complainant, thereby Honorable Yeke Koluba is hereby discharged and as a free man. Will you not accept that as well? I'm asking, will you reject that?
I'm here to ask you, sir.
So I'm saying to you that you cannot, until, like I said, there is a committee hearing schedule, recommendations will be brought forth, debate will be conducted, and at the end of the day, we will be voting based on recommendations one by one until we can have a conclusively concluded recommendation before the plenary.
This country is for all of us. I've been asked on so many occasions to go and beg Mr. Boakai for him to have clemency on me. If I do that, that means I betray the thoughts of the Liberian people. I have been asked by people, say, leave the country. You have to leave the country. I say, I cannot leave the people. I brought the government to power, and the Liberian people are suffering. We need to be here. And I know Mr. Boakai has instructed that I be arrested. I'm on my way to my house to 19th Street. Let them come and arrest me. I'm not going to leave the country. This country does not carry Mr. Boakai's name. They say Republic of Liberia. When you look on the D, nothing is going to get detained in this country. So I'm going
after all of the fight, the voting process is on.
I wish to be called.
Your colleagues are not voted.
No, I wish to be called citizen and wish to be called commoners like the other people. I owe no regret for bringing the government to power. I owe no regret for my action. The way I speak.
How do you feel the House Deputy Chief Clerk said she did not receive a communication from the Supreme Court yesterday?
The people will judge them. It is about the people. It's not about people here.
So what becomes of your rate of prohibition that was being filed to the Supreme Court?
We'll see redress on the court.
At this present moment, are you saying?
I know that they got people to arrest me. I will not look. Let me say this. Yeke Koluba will never leave the country and leave the people here.
Your security matters, Honorable Koluba. At this present moment,
I get it in one of my police cars and go home. Let them come and arrest me.
At the present moment, are you saying?
Anything they want to do.
Do you trust the security apparatus of this country at the moment?
I do not trust Mr. Boakai and his security. I do not trust them.
It's
not owned by Mr. Boakai. It's owned by the Liberian people. I can never, ever, so help me God. People say I'm going to go and lay down under Mr. Boakai for what? Mr. Boakai can have children. Then they go lay down under his feet. Then you can come back.
Are you going to contest? Are you going to contest in the 2009 election for 2010?
We'll talk about that later.
Are you safe, Honorable Koluba?
We'll talk about that later. I'm safe. You see me going to security. I know that Mr. Boakai get people to arrest me. Am I afraid? I'm not afraid. I'm going to walk over. Don't bring the car. I want to walk and start walking. Don't bring the car.
Honorable Koluba, your colleagues are currently reading the you.
Do
you think the executive is going to remove today?
No, it's up to
Do you see any illegal play?
It's not illegal. But that's the best thing to do what I want to do. I can never ever beg Mr. Boakai. Mr. Boakai owe me apologies.
You trusted a lot of your colleagues. At the end of the day, they turn against you.
That's the process. Even in our black, people sign the resolution. Even in our black, people sign the resolution. So that's the process.
What do you have to say?
Well, I want my supporters to be very calm.
Receive money. I mean, you have a lot of supporters.
I want my supporters.
They could check her down. Of serious chaos.
I want my supporters to remain very calm. The process has started, and we carry on the process and see. Don't like that guy going up. I won't walk on, yeah, I'm going up.
You just could check her down, serious chaos among your supporters.
No, I don't want them to do anything. Let them remain very calm. Let them remain very calm. The security, Mr. Boakai, get to arrest me. Let them come and arrest me. I'll spend everything that I said.
Will you not leave the country at the moment, Honorable Koluba?
I can never ever extend apology to Mr. Boakai. Mr. Boakai owe me apology and he will extend my apology.
Will you not leave the country to be secure at this time?
I'm not leaving from here. I will be here until the matter is resolved. I will not leave this country. Who is Mr. Boakai to make me scared in the country? Mr. Boakai is a common citizen like myself. He cannot make me.
He's the president of the country.
So what?
How can the president be?
Thank you, Honorable Koluba. Thank you, Honorable Koluba. Thank you, Honorable Koluba.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Alexander Cummings, and I love the Independent Minds for a Better Liberia. And I encourage you to listen on Kia Radio 95.9 FM to be informed, to be challenged, to be provoked, to think about Liberia in a new and different way.
You